Because tonight, an improbable hope became an undeniable reality. So we don't know all the results, but we know by the time it's all said and done, Iowa, you have shocked the nation. Because by all indications, we are going on to New Hampshire victorious. You know, 1 year ago, it was in the deep freeze of an Iowa January where we began this unlikely journey to win the American presidency. We weren't well known, but we had a new idea. The idea that at this moment when Washington has never felt further from our everyday lives, a middle-class mayor from the American Midwest could carry the voices of the American people all the way to the American Capitol and make sure they're actually heard. We had the belief that in the face of exhaustion and cynicism and division, in spite of every trampled norm and every poisonous tweet, that a rising majority of Americans was hungry for action and ready for new answers. We could see an American majority yearning for leadership to rally us together behind bold ideas to make a difference in our lives. We saw that Americans were ready to come together, but our politics were not. And to seize this moment, we needed a new path forward, a path that welcomed people instead of pushing them away, brought them together instead of driving them apart, because this is our best and maybe our last shot. We knew that with this American majority, we are on the cusp of changing the game for ordinary Americans, but that we could not win or govern if we wrote people off who didn't agree with us 100% of the time. But that if we could come together, the future that we know is possible would start on January 21st, 2021. Now, there were skeptics, an awful lot of skeptics, who said, not now, not this time. All this talk of belonging and of bridging divides is too naive, too risky. So tonight I say with a heart full of gratitude, Iowa, you have proved those skeptics wrong. By your effort, and it was by your effort, we brought together an extraordinary coalition of Americans, progressives, moderates, and that good number of what we like to call future former Republicans. And that's how we're going to win in November. Because it's about adding people to our cause, adding to our majority. That is how we will guarantee that on the day Donald Trump leaves office, we'll be ready to move America forward into the era that must come next. I want to thank every member of our campaign family, every organizer, every volunteer, every caucus goer who talked to a neighbor or a coworker, every staff member and every supporter who believed. And anyone who shares our vision can join the 750,000 grassroots supporters fueling our movement and chip in right now at PeteForAmerica.com. And while we're at it, I want to recognize a few other people who helped us get to this night. My mother, who not only helped raise me, but put her love of language to work answering letters sent to our campaign. My father, who left us just in the very early days of this journey, but whose own journey to this country made tonight possible in the first place. And to the love of my life, keeping my feet on the ground, how about a hand for the future First Gentleman of the United States? Let's hear it for Chester. I also want to congratulate my fellow Democratic competitors in this diverse and formidable field. For months, we have been having an honest and respectful but vigorous debate about the course of our party and the future of this nation. And tonight, Iowa chose a new path. From river to river, in churches and community centers and high school gyms, you joined your neighbors to say that the time has come to turn the page and open up a new chapter in the American story. You chose to move on not just from the broken policies of these last few years, but the broken politics that got us here. And tomorrow, because of what we did here, the nation will have that choice too. We take our message onward to New Hampshire, which has a way of making up its own mind, to Nevada, to South Carolina, and beyond to every corner of America. And as we do, we will be building the movement that not only will win the election against Donald Trump, but win the era for our shared values. We have exactly one shot to defeat Donald Trump. And we're not going to do it by overreaching. We're not going to do it by division. We're not going to do it by saying it's my way or the highway. This is our shot, our only shot to galvanize an American majority to win. And make no mistake, ours is the campaign that will defeat this president. A president who cuts taxes for corporations while crushing the rights of workers to organize ought to have to compete with a middle-class mayor who entered politics fighting for auto workers and actually lives and works in the industrial Midwest. A president who tries to cloak himself and his wrongdoing in religion should have to debate a candidate not afraid to remind America that God does not belong to a political party. And a president who avoided serving when it was his turn should have to stand next to a veteran ready to show what troops deserve from a real commander-in-chief. Now, this president may get a pass on the floor of the Senate, but this November, the verdict will be up to us. And when I'm your nominee, we will win big enough to send not just Donald Trump's presidency, but Trumpism itself into the dustbin of history where it belongs. Something is stirring in America right now. You can feel it. We saw it tonight. In the bluest counties and the reddest, in rural towns and industrial cities, in big communities and small, and the suburbs in between. We're seeing Democrats hungry to win, independent voters who had been turned off by our politics, Republicans tired of trying to look their kids in the eye and explain this presidency, all standing together. And all standing together to declare that we are defined not by who we voted for in the past, but by what we're voting for in the future. This is the coalition that no pundit saw coming. And it's the coalition the president won't see coming either. It's a majority we're assembling to agree not just on who we're against, but on what we are for. We are unifying a rising American majority ready to raise wages and empower workers in this fast-changing economy. A majority ready and determined to put an end to endless war. A majority committed to bringing about a day in America where your race has no bearing on your health, your wealth, your access to education, or your relationship with law enforcement. A majority of Americans ready to support our teachers with a president and a Secretary of Education who believe in public education. Those Americans are counting on us to come together and act, and they cannot wait. I've met Americans not even yet old enough to vote, but who know that we cannot wait. An 11-year-old asking how his family will be able to afford the insulin he needs. He can't wait for a president who will ensure there is no such thing as an uninsured American or an unaffordable prescription. The 14-year-old who let me know she's already written out a basic will because she's terrified the next day in school could be her last. Cannot wait for a president who will see to it that she can walk into her school free of fear. 10-year-old who let me know he expects to be around in 2100 and look back at whether we acted fast enough to secure his future. He cannot wait for a president prepared to enlist every American in the fight for our climate. We are running for them. This campaign is giving voice to them, and it has room for everyone, because no matter who you voted for in elections past, and for that matter, no matter who you caucused for tonight, we welcome you in our campaign, and you belong in the future that we are building for America. Whether you're a young woman with autism in Muscatine or a veteran battling addiction in Claremont, you belong. Whether you clean hotel rooms in Las Vegas or are getting a new business up and running in Charleston, you belong. I believe the presidency has a purpose. And the purpose of our American presidency is not the glorification of the president. It is the unification and the empowerment of the American people to solve these big problems. America has a place for everyone. And I believe this not because of my age, but because of my experience. I believe in American unity because of my experience serving, of lacing up my boots in the dust of a war zone alongside Americans so different we hardly had anything in common besides a flag on our shoulders, yet learned to trust each other with our lives.
Thank you. Thank you.
I believe in American boldness because of my experience governing, guiding a city once called dying out of the shadows of our empty factories and into a brighter future. And I believe in American belonging because of an experience you are part of right here tonight. Looking out at you and remembering how it felt to be an Indiana teenager, wondering if he would ever belong in this world. Wondering if something deep inside him meant that he would forever be an outsider, that he might never wear the uniform, never be accepted, never even know love. And now that same person is standing in front of you, a mayor, a veteran, happily married, and one step closer to becoming the next president of the United States. That is the America we are building. That is the America so many Iowans chose tonight. If you are ready to build an American life defined by belonging, this is our chance. If you're ready to build an American politics defined by boldness, this is our chance. And if you are ready to build an American future defined by unity in the face of our greatest challenges, this is our chance. So with hope in our hearts and fire in our bellies, we're going on to New Hampshire, on to the nomination, and on to chart a new course for this country that we love. Thank you. Thank you, Iowa. Thank you so much. Thank you.